I'm Tony Ruiz, contributing editor at Gold Derby, here with Leo Woodall, who stars as Dexter in the Netflix series One Day. And Leo, this is a guy who has so many dimensions, so many issues. He's basically
Yeah.
like a one man. He runs the gamut through these episodes. And so, Mike, I guess my first question is: when you know you're going to tackle a character like this, is that a daunting thing, knowing that you're going to be having to span this kind of time frame and go through that many dimensions?
Yeah, it was definitely a daunting project, that I knew I was going into. It was exciting, but um, I would soon come to learn that, Dexter is so not stress free. He's a very kind of stressful person to be around and to play. Um, but it was also kind of a gift as an actor. You get to explore so many different fallacies of someone's personhood. And I didn't. All I had to do was just follow the wonderful words that were written.
Well, and it's funny when I was talking to Ambika about this. She was talking about how one of you know, this series that covers this many years, and yet you're shooting out of order, and that one of the first scenes that you had to do was basically in the last episode, where Dexter's kind of at his lowest after, spoiler alert, her death. Um, and so how do you prepare to jump into something that emotional that quickly?
Ah, just do it. I didn't have a choice. I think um, that that particular scene that we shot was it was day four of like day 100 that we shot in total time, and yeah, it was a scene in Sylvie's bathroom, and I don't know. I think there was there was definitely some anxiety about get doing those scenes, because not only is it anxiety about doing it properly and committing, but it's also it sucks being in that place, like it really does. And um I was naive at the beginning because I did that scene and we finished it and we wrapped that day, and I was like, okay, like, well done, mate. Well done. You got through that. Well done. Little did I know, like, just how many times I would actually have to do that, or how not have to, but just like how often that would occur. Because it's not always clear on the page, um, exactly what the is actually going to be like when you do it on set. Um, so sometimes having no prep is like the best thing, because you don't spend loads of time overthinking it or planning it. Uh, you just have to, put your heart next to your characters and go.
Well, and that scene especially, I can imagine, must have been difficult also because you have to play a sense of loss, and and because right there, and you haven't worked together that much. So, we talked a lot about chemistry, and you guys just seem to have it from the get-go. Is that kind of the case?
Yeah, we became friends like straight away. We once we both knew that we were playing the parts, we met up for a drink on the South Bank at like lunchtime and just kind of just hung out and got to know each other a bit. And she's incredibly just funny and smart, and you know it. We just had a very easy relationship from at the beginning, and I think that really carried us through a lot of like what was in a lot of ways the hardest points, like right at the beginning, because you're still feeling your way through things. Um and I think I we're very lucky to have Ambika. hope she feels the same about me as you
I'm
are.
pretty sure she does, just based on my own conversations with her.
Good.
You know, there's you get to play a character who, I mean, the concept of a TV presenter is, we
Mm.
have those same kind of things in the States, but a presenter really is its own kind of monster in the UK. And so I'm curious, did you actively, as somebody who's been on, as you guys call them, chat shows, um, as somebody who's been on those types of things, were you secretly pulling things from different presenters that you've seen? You don't have to tell me who.
No, no. Truthfully, that was one of like the hardest bits doing Dexter in a lot of ways. I had no clue like how to do it, and I had such a respect for TV presenters afterwards. Um, and I hadn't been on the chat shows at that point, so I didn't really have a lot to draw from. And there were a few from the 90s that were references. Um, but no, I think because the times where you see him be a presenter, it's a complete car crash. It's kind of hard to I don't know, take from anything you see on TV because it's not as bad as that. Um, at least not from what I've seen. I don't know if you can. I don't know if you've seen worse.
Um, the scenes where Dexter struggles with substance abuse throughout, it's kind of a recurring theme with him throughout the series. And in talking to a lot of actors, they find those moments where you have to play inebriation or drug addiction or stuff like that. They find them, very difficult to play honestly. How did you approach those particular scenes?
I had the same feeling. It's not easy, and you do occasionally like I had to check in, with the director and be like, are you buying it? Um, I think it's just I just felt like I had to give myself a, a weight and you know I want to say a sway, but I don't really know. Like only I'm only thinking of a specific scene, but like the scene in the club at the beginning of episode 5, that was a lot. That was a lot more fun because you get to be just kind of like energized, and he's loving life, so you kind of just have to go there. And so I gave myself I gave myself a bit of a like a jaw thing, and I always had chewing gum in my mouth, and you're just larger than anyone else, and you have to be louder than anyone else, and it was kind of embarrassing at times because we were in this big club. There was like 200 people my age, also in the club with me, and they were, but the camera was always on me, so they were kind of, I don't know, I was so aware of like these my peers all looking at me, being this absolute
Well, in fact, but
paper bag, and
what's so amazing is that is the dinner between you and Ambika, that he keeps getting up and going to the bathroom, and you know exactly what he's doing. And so, are you, in from a performance standpoint, are you like, okay, he's going in, he's doing this, and every time he comes back out, are you making alterations in terms of his behavior after he comes out of the bathroom?
yeah, a little bit. I think uh, me and John, the director of of those few episodes, played with it a little bit, and there had to be a progression through it. And I didn't, this the scene can't be too just, it's really about what's going on between them, and it was important not to distract it too much with too much sniffing, but it had to be there a little bit. And there was a nice opportunity where the steak comes out, and I forked it, and he wouldn't really be that hungry, so I just kind of threw it in my mouth and just kind of chewed it, but it was like tough and it was like dry, and I just like didn't was not really enjoying it. And so like those little moments were fun to play, but really it was like the progression of how bad their dinner is going to become and how more distant they're going to become, and yeah, shamefully how more awful he's going to become throughout the night.
Well, you talk about progression, and the hallmark of this show obviously is that every episode is a year later, and I'm curious how much um, filling in of the blanks did you do between, so that the next time we see Dexter, there's been some life that he's experienced that we haven't seen. Where did you go into the book? What did you do to fill in kind of those gaps?
I mean, we couldn't. There's some of those gaps are filled for you in the book, little bits of detail that aren't necessarily in the series, but honestly, a lot of it just kind of I just did it. Um, I just thought about him a lot, and just but then you also go into each chapter, each episode, and I think the beauty of it is that you are just kind of where you are right now, and the whole year that's passed is filtering through very well through the script. And so if you just uh, I basically just followed the instructions. I opened the manual and just followed the instructions.
I love that you call the script. I love that you call the script a manual, because in talking to some actors, sometimes there is a lot of detail in the scripts, and then sometimes there's not necessarily a lot. So I take it from both what you and Ambika have said that these scripts really were written in a way to give you guys like a guidebook to these characters' changes.
Yeah, they were very rich, and I think we always had the the luxury of not only having a wonderful script written by Nicole Taylor, but then it was also based on this beautiful novel by David Nichols, and so it's all already there, and you know you create moments between you, and you know find little nuggets here and there, but a lot of the time you just the story's already planned out for you, and you just gotta commit.
Does that make it harder at the end when you finally reach the end? Was this a character that was easy to leave behind, or did you find yourself like wanting to explore even more with this guy?
I think it was a bit of both. Like I definitely, I'd gone through it playing Dexter. Like
Yes, yes, you did.
I think the two of us, we'd gone through it. So we were okay letting each other go. He was okay, his story kind of ending there, and I was okay letting it. That it feels it's it it's incredibly sad the way it ends, but it's also very hopeful. So I spent time thinking about like how's he doing? But I think you hopefully get a good sense of how he's doing. He's coping with the grief, and he's got a really good relationship with his daughter, and he's got his life back on track as much as he can, and that's all you can really ask.
I I I asked Ambika, and I'm going to ask you the same question. What is it about these two characters that keeps them? What is the tie? Because on paper they shouldn't work. On
Yeah.
paper, they it should not work the way it does. What is the connective tissue you think that binds these two characters together?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, like as much as the story is a love story, it is also just about two people growing up, and you see a lot more of their friendship than you do their love story. And you don't have to be similar to each other to be fierce friends and to have, you know, a cosmic energy. Is that right? Cosmic friendship, whatever. Um, I think he loves how she sees him as just him. She sees through all the kind of Dexter Mayhew bollocks, and it's like I feel weird saying that word when you're sat in a classroom. Um, but I think she
It
just
doesn't have the same. It doesn't have the same meaning here.
good. Okay, good. She calls him out a lot, and he loves that. I think he's been sugarcoated a lot, and she cuts through it, but she also is incredibly caring towards him and loves the real him, the silly him, the stupid him. She makes fun of him for being kind of dumb, and he likes it. And I think he's just instantly drawn to her because she doesn't really play by the same rules that other people in his life have played by. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but at the same time, he also is able to see her through the walls that she puts up.
Yeah, she puts up a million walls, and I think the thing that really holds them together is their ability to take the piss out of each other, and then also, you know, really look out for one another when the other's down. And you see that in both. You see them both do that multiple times in the story, and that's at the end of the day, that's what makes or breaks a friendship. Is are you going to make that person laugh, and are you going to be there when it counts?
At their best and at their worst.
Exactly.
Well, Leo Woodall, congratulations. The show is such a massive success and has the quality behind it, which is so lovely to see. Everybody go to goldderby.com, make your predictions for the upcoming award season, and stay tuned for interviews with more contenders in the coming weeks. Leo Woodall, congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you, Tony.